History of Second World War. The going with bewildering conflict, investigating from 1939 to 1945, was potentially of the major battle in humankind's technique of encounters, reshaping the overall scene and influencing Goliath lives. It emerged considering upset pressures holding up from the following shocking battle and the resulting money-related compounding of the interwar period. The contention legitimately began on September 1, 1939, when Nazi Germany, under the relationship of Adolf Hitler, sought after Poland. This act affected Britain and France to give fight to Germany, meaning the start of dangers in Europe. Hitler's magnificent expansionist frameworks, driven by a yearning for Lebensraum, living space, and a fantasy of Aryan uniqueness, had proactively induced the expansion of Austria and the control of Czechoslovakia. The conflict immediately raised as Germany, using strike systems portrayed by quick and made attacks, rapidly vanquished a great deal of Europe. By 1940, France had fallen, leaving Britain as the singular major joined power in Europe. The commitment of Britain followed, with the special flying-based military really safeguarding the island country against the Luftwaffe's aeronautical assaults. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, extraordinary Japan, hoping to spread out strength in East Asia, conveyed off an improvement of strong military missions. The most senseless of these was the upsetting attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, conveying the U.S. into the debate. Japan quickly expanded its district, getting locales across Southeast Asia and the Pacific. The piece of the U.S. into the discussion initiated an earnest basic occasion, as its very front May and Goliath resources stayed aware of the cemented endeavor's cause. The accomplices, including the U.S., Britain, the Soviet alliance, China, and various nations, each and every push toward turn, traded the circumstance against the turn powers, Germany, Japan, and Italy. In Europe, the Eastern Front saw a piece of the debate's most savage doing drawing in as Nazi Germany clashed with the Soviet connection. The discussion of Stalingrad, 1942-1943, turned out to be an unequivocal victory for the Soviets, moving energy for themselves and causing immense episodes for the German coordinated influence. On the Western Front, the embellishments moved off an improvement of land as well as water-fit assaults, completing in the D-Day appearances on June 6, 1944. This distinguishable the begin. On the Western Front, the embellishments moved off an improvement of land as well as water-fit assaults, completing in the D-Day appearances on June 6, 1944. This distinguishable the beginning of the opportunity of Western Europe from Nazi occupation, as joined powers advanced through France and into Germany. In the Pacific, the tide misled Japan following unequivocal sea battles like All Over 1942, and the island-skipping attempts drove by the U.S. The disputes of Iwo Jima and Okinawa in 1945 foreshadowed the end attracting that would go with an assault of the Japanese home islands. The major basic vital crossroads in the Pacific went with the dropping of atomic bombs on the metropolitan relationship of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, impacting Japan's overwhelmed, uninvolved consent on September 2, 1945. The conversation in Europe had truly completed in May 1945 with Germany's quiet convenience, yet the central area lay squashed by clearing stretches of dispute. The going with marvelous battle impacted the world unendingly, causing monster human torture and loss of life, learned at in excess of 70 million fatalities. Its repercussions saw the ascending of the U.S. and the Soviet relationship as superpowers, the beginning of the sickness war, and the readiness of the bound together nations with a ludicrous objective to obstruct future in normal battles.